Hey guys, it's Deep Orange, and today I have a pretty interesting review for you guys. This is a 2004 Death Warmed Over from Spirit Halloween, latex prop. Now, as far as I'm concerned, there aren't any other reviews of this guy aside from the 2002 version on GMA, which this one is quite different. For starters, the 2002 version is a lot slimmer. I feel like the eyes are a little more popped out, and the biggest difference by far, the entire body is like just completely dark red. But anyway, I thought since there's no other videos of this guy out there, I should do one. And I've been meaning to for a while. But anyway, finally got to it, so here we go. So, starting off with the head, I guess, it is very detailed. Amazing sculpt. I honestly have no idea who sculpted it. But yeah, it is really good. You get a lot of little gross wrinkles. There's patches of the head missing there on either side. Something pretty interesting to note about the head is that instead of the eyes just being sculpted in, like they usually are for latex props, this guy uses the kind of Gag Studios taxidermy eyes, which I do think look pretty good, but admittedly they do make him look a little cartoony. So, you know, could be a flaw, could be a good thing. I don't know, take it as you will. And then my only other, I guess, kind of concern, I don't really care about it too much, but the teeth are a little too, like, perfect white for my liking, and then the ears are really kind of flat and not sculpted very well, in my opinion. Other than that, the head looks really good for 2004 standards. Moving down, we have the torso section. This is also sculpted very well. Admittedly, it is kind of small. I don't really care about that too much though. So you get to see a lot of the rib bone poking through. That's a really nice detail. Yet again, a lot of wrinkles you can see on him. You can't really see from the camera angle, but most of the neck is also sculpted, including a lot of actually muscle fiber. And of course, the shoulders are also sculpted very nicely. Yet again, I have no clue who sculpted this guy. If anyone out there knows, that'd be appreciated a lot. Moving down again to probably my least favorite section of him, we have the arms. Unfortunately, the previous owner I got this from, I'll go into that at the end, did display this outside for several years. So if you kind of listen here, he is dry-rotted in some places, and by far, because if you look, these arms are really thin. Actually, you can kind of, oh, look at that. You can kind of see some of the red still. So I guess likely when this came out, it was more red. It just kind of sun-faded over time. Actually, some of the red is still on the back of him as well. I'll show that in a bit. But these arms definitely took a pretty good beating. There's creasing right here. That's pretty tough right there. And then the only rip I could find on him was right here. I'm meaning to patch it for a little bit, but that is also really tough. These arms are also really thin, and I've noticed the hands kind of like fold upwards when you have them on the floor. And there's no stuffing in these. There's a little bit in this one, but on this arm there's just nothing. This is completely flat. Not to mention the unfortunately worst part about him, I think, though it does make him look a little bit cooler, is that these arms are not proportionate to anything on him. They are super long. So if you kind of pay attention to him for a while, you will realize that, but luckily, if you don't, he looks really good. Other than that, that is pretty much it. I think overall, this is a really nice latex prop. This is actually my first latex prop I ever got. And I think it is, honestly, if you can find one, it's probably the best, like, starter you can go for, because it's so basic, but it's so good. I know I was kind of thrashing on it for a little bit, but overall, if you just kind of pay attention to the good parts of it, all those bad things just kind of fall away. you don't really notice them as much. Even the long arms, they kind of look good to a degree, and you could argue that most of his body is just still underground anyway, because I mean he is a groundbreaker, of course. So yeah, overall he is really good. I'm really happy with him. Glad I found him. One last thing I want to note about him, then I'll go into the story of how I got him, is the back side of him. You can kind of tell right there, actually it's harder to see on camera by a pretty good margin, that the red is still kind of there, so probably it is just sun faded over time. Oh gosh, that arm is not good. But once again, this is very detailed. Got a nice spine on him, and you can kind of see the shoulder blades. A lot of nice wrinkles again. Almost look like if you crumple up a piece of paper. I really like that. Super interesting. And then final note, the maker's mark and the bottom. So let me see if I can get that on camera right there. This says Smithies Limited 2004, www.smithies.com, made in China. Now, fun fact, this is the only latex prop that Smithies ever made for Spirit. Actually, I think it's the only anything Smithies made for Spirit. And it also might be the only latex prop Smithies ever made in general. So this is a really, really unique piece. I would say that it's rare, because I had never actually heard of him until I got him, but they're really not. If you look in the right places, there's a couple on eBay right now, different versions. He was sold between 2002 and 2004 at Spirit Halloween, but you know, this is the 2004 model, of course, because you saw in the back. What was I gonna say? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, but if you like look in old haunt videos, there's a playlist on my channel right now, you can actually see that he is in a ton, surprisingly. Which it makes sense, he's just a simple zombie groundbreaker. It's kind of perfect in a way, which is why I say he's the perfect starter latex prop. But yeah, I guess that just kind of shows how well-rounded he is. But anyway, now on to the explanation of how I got him. If you don't care about this, you can click off now. I just wanted to present him to you guys. So into the story. Fast forward to Halloween night of, or I shouldn't say fast forward, more like go backwards to Halloween night of 2024. I was out trick-or-treating as usual, and I kind of looked down because the guy, one of the houses had this like drop-off porch that led to like a little garden, and in the garden was this guy just kind of sitting there, and I realized, oh shoot, this is a latex prop, because back then I had like 10 things and none of them were latex props, so I really wanted one. So, you know, the guy answered the door, my friends got their candy, and I got my candy as well. But before I left, I ended up asking him, hey, would you be interested in selling this prop down there? And at first he was confused, and he said, you know, come back next year, and if I still have it, it's in good condition, you can take it for free. And I was like, wow, okay. That sounds great, man, thank you. So I leave, go trick-or-treating for a while, probably another like 2 hours, and it's getting pretty dark now. I think it was like 9. So I start heading home, and before I do, I realize I don't know what that prop is, and I don't have a picture of it. So I walk out back up to his porch to grab a picture of it before I leave, and he literally just comes out of nowhere, out of a door in his garage, and he says, hey, if you really want that thing, you can come back tomorrow and pick it up. So I said, yeah, man, thanks a ton, because this never happens at all. So, yeah, November 1st, I came back to his house. It was in a little bag for me. I tried paying him a little bit of money, but he wouldn't take it, so, you know, props to him. And then, yeah, that's the story of how I got this guy. So, once again, overall, Very nice latex prop. Definitely, if you can find one for cheap, I would get it 100%. Very iconic, simple, but very effective. Yeah, and that's about it. Deep Orange out.